Hi, it's Beverly Cole and I'm in my studio and I have new lights and a new microphone. So I'm really hoping that it helps for you to see better and hear better. Yesterday I went yard sailing with them and I got the cutest stuff. One of the things I did get though, which was 2 for $1 in the thrift store, was I don't know if you can see it, but it's a Starbucks tall mug and I love it. Feels good. Then I got this cute little piggy plate. Look at this plate. 97 cents, and I just love little plates and bowls. I use them in here, and whenever I have little pieces of, even tiny stamps that I need to clean, I'll put them on a little plate. Here's a little bowl, and I found this little screw on the floor, and I'm like, I don't know, that belongs to something. So I put it in my little plate. And I also have a little bowl. Let me reach over here. I have a little bowl that I keep my anti-static pad in. It keeps all the mess in a little bowl. I love it. So little bowls are one of my favorite things. And that little piggy plate was so cute, I couldn't resist. We're going to work on a shape card, and I printed out my Bartlett Pears, and I printed it out in color, and I printed it out in black and white, and I put the sentiment in the center of the card, and I also put a separate sentiment here, because I'm thinking what I'll do is make a tag. And then I made another one down here that will be just empty inside, no sentiment. So let's get started with those. What we're going to do first is cut them out. Fussy cut them. Let me get my fussy cutty scissors. Okay, so we'll cut those out. And as I've talked about before, I always look at the white space outside the black lines to make sure I get a nice even cut. And these Bartlett Pears, oh my gosh, I drew these years ago. I had a studio downtown in Leesburg where I live, and I felt like a trapped animal. I was there for 3 months, taught classes, but it was just a little tiny studio, and I wasn't able to just leave. And I was just... Most of that summer, people were away because we have snowbirds here. So while the people are away, there's not much going on. So although I was in a little place where I was with other people with little studios and little shops, I would go down there and be there all day. And a lot of the time I was alone. I did manage to get things done, but I was just not happy. So I said, you know what? I don't really need to be here. I was just making enough money to pay my rent. So I closed it and came back home, where I am very happy. Okay, so this is cut out, okay? Then we'll cut out the colored one. I'll cut that out. And I love these. I print them out full card size, and they're really fun and easy. These are easy, and I'm going to show you how to connect the back to the front, where you don't have to even hurt the front at all. And you can attach them without making any holes or using any staples or anything that's going to mess up the front of your card. When you do this, you want to be particularly careful that you don't cut off a lot of the black, because you want it to be the same size as your background. Okay, so here's the front and the back, and we're going to put those over each other. Make sure that they look good. So you don't have any extra sticking out. Here's a little bit there. I'm going to just trim that off. A little bit down here, I'll trim that off. Okay, easy enough. Then we're going to take some, here we'll do one. I'm just going to do the one for now. That's the other one. You do them exactly the same way. So now this is the front and this is the inside. So we're going to attach them here on the side so that you can open it like this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to score, not this piece, but this background piece with my, you could use a scoreboard. This is just easier for me since I have it sitting right here. I'm just going to score a line here. You can use your trimmer as a scoreboard. And so now that piece will bend, as you can see. Okay, so that's going to bend. And I'm just going to I'm going to use tape because tape will hold it sturdy, more sturdy. It's a little bit more permanent. So I'm just going to lay a piece of tape. Let me move this up so you can see. I'm going to put a piece of tape here. Okay, and then I'm just going to trim it off. And I really did cut a big piece of tape. Oopsie. So let's just trim that off and use those other pieces for another project. Just put those over here on the edge of my picky plate. Okay, there we go. See, I stuck them to my picky plate. Can you see? So now I'll just peel that off. And I can attach the front of my card. So you just attach it like that. Just lay it on top, make sure they're lined up nicely, and press. Okay? Now look at the front of my card. Perfectly fine, but look, when you open it, isn't that awesome? So that's just a simple little thing you can do. And now I'm going to take some Distress ink, and let me pick out what color I want. I'm thinking probably walnut stain, and I'm going to use the Distress Oxide just because it's handy. Piece of paper, because I'm not using my glass mat, using my cutting mat today. So with this, I'm just going to go around the edges. Just get rid of the white. Okay, because there is some white. Okay. So this is a really easy thing to do when you've got digital stamps. You can just print them out large when they're large shapes like this, and you can make them into a shape card. Now I've got it closed, so I can go ahead and I can actually ink both pieces, back and front edges. And I'm going to lay it down and do the back extra well. And just kind of give it a little bit of shadow around the edges for the back. Look kind of cool. Okay. Okay, and there's our card. And there we go. Now on the inside, you can still write a message. And, if you wanted to, you could color the inside a little bit if whatever you want to do. But right here, I'm going to use the Bartlett Pear that I had trimmed out, and I'm going to cut it into a stamp shape. Sorry, not a stamp shape, a tag shape. So I'm just going to use my trimmer. Trim it into a nice, neat rectangle. Just kind of eyeball it, and I'm looking at I think I'm just going to make it a shorter tag like that, and then I'm just going to kind of eyeball the edges. Not quite the same, but like that. See? So I have this little tag, and I'm going to attach it to my pear. But first, of course, I have to do some things to my tag because it looks kind of plain. So what I will do is I think I'm going to get a little green, because I do have some green in my pear, and I think green might look kind of nice. So let's see what I've got. Just grabbing my Distress inks. I keep them in this little vintage box. So let's see what I've got that goes with that green. How about Twisted Citron, or I could do some Lucky Clover. Let's see what looks the best. Paper again. If you start off the edge, see this mark right here? I don't know if you can see that mark, but I got a little bit of a round mark there, and I don't like that, and that's because I hit it right on like that. So if you come off the edge and you work your way toward like that, you won't get those marks. Then I'm going to take a little bit, I think, of this, I don't know, I'm looking at that and it looks kind of nice when I put it with my card. What do you think? I don't know if I need any darker green. Let's see what it looks like. Maybe around the edges. Yeah, a little green edge. There we go. I like it. Okay, so that was Lucky Clover around the edge, and it was Twisted Citron Distress Oxide on the inside, and I used Walnut Stain on the other one. Okay, so now we have our tag. Okay, and I use these guys. I use these, and I have done some weird, well, not weird, but I've done some kind of artsy things with them before. Let me see if I can grab some and show you. Yeah, so some I actually inked black. Okay, with just some black ink. Some other ones I used some stamps, and then I used some walnut stain, and I distressed them. So I'm thinking, what do I want to put on my Bartlett Pear tag? I think these are just too big. I don't really think I need them. They look kind of large. Even though they would be pretty, just think they're kind of big. I think just a whole would be better. Aren't those cool? I love them. Now this is just a little tiny, I think it's like 1/8 of an inch. I like to put a little mark where I'm going to put the circle because I just mess up so often. So let's do this. We'll just slide this in there, and I'll see where I'm going to put the circle and punch it. And perfect, because I measured. So now this will be here, right? So cute. And let's see, for a pear, it would be really cool, I think, to use a piece of twine. Let me go grab a piece of twine. Okay, here's the twine. I've got some really pretty natural ribbons that I have. I don't know if those would work. They might be just a little too heavy. So I think I will use the twine. I'll cut a length of that. And put it through the hole. And I just like to put the little loop through the hole. This is really thick twine. Probably be better off with something a little less thick. So how about if we just take half of it? This is like, yeah, look at that, I ripped it in two. So I'm just going to use one piece of the twine, half of it, pull it through. Oh, so cool. And then put that through. So furry. Furry, furry, furry. I don't know what that little piece is there that's giving me such a hard time. Let's see if we can work it through. Oh, that's kind of cool. And then we'll just attach that. And we'll just pull out those little pieces. It's no big deal. Look at that. Then you're just going to attach to the top of my card. Now, I want it to look like it's tied to the pear. So I will take each side like this. And I'm going to just glue it because I really don't want a lot of bulk. And I'm going to glue the tag down there. And I'm going to glue these guys right there. And trim them. To make sure that's really stuck, you can go over it with some more glue. And it will dry. Okay. Okay, and then that's the front of your card. And the inside is still clean. So I'll trim those little hairs off when it's dry. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to dress this up a little bit. So I'm going to take some, let's see, just Starfire. I think we'll use Starfire glitter, which is semi-transparent, and I'm going to put some two-way glue right there. Let me get that. Nuva glue pen. And we'll just put some two-way glue right there. Okay. I don't want any blue. I think I got a little bit of blue on my... Yeah. Okay, so we'll just put some white glitter there. And maybe some glitter here, just like that. And because it's clear, I can go bigger, and I don't want the blue, so here we go. So I'm just going to do that. Get myself a coffee filter, and we will sprinkle the glitter here. And tap it off. Okay, and we're going to just let that dry. Look how pretty that looks already. So shape cards can be a lot of fun. When this dries, all you'll see is the glitter. You won't see any of the white. And then the inside is perfectly fine. And this will fit right inside an envelope. So isn't that cool? So that's that card. Now the other one, we'll go ahead and cut these in half again. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this through an embossing folder for our pear. We have all different kinds. And I'm thinking, I got this one. Let's see what else. Music, butterflies and bugs and snowflakes, borders. I've got all these funky ones from Tim Holtz with all the different vintage looking things. I think that might look cool. So I'm going to go ahead and use that one. Okay, so here we are, and we'll take it out, and look how cool that looks. Can you see? Very, very cool. So now I'm going to, one thing you want to notice is, though, when you do that, the card may change its size. So we're going to cut this one out first. Let me get my other scissors. Those are too big. I like to use my little scissors. One thing I just noticed, unfortunately, is that when I put it through that, it weakened it right here. So it's not a good thing. So you want to be very careful when you do that. Now I'm going to use some ink, some of that green ink I used earlier, to kind of try to fix that where it ripped. Get up. Yep, when I make a mistake, I'm going to share it with you so you know how to fix it. Okay, so now the color looks great. The color looks great there. Okay, and we're going to also use some of that Distress Oxide, again, around the edges. Now, one thing we can do is take another piece of cardstock of the same shape and back this with that cardstock. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I had this piece of background paper I printed out by Fred, she said, and I'm going to go ahead, oh, look at that, and I'm going to cut this, oh, that's pretty too, for the inside. I had printed this on both sides, so I am going to use this on the inside of this card, since I blew it and made the outside weak, I'm going to trim this. I'm going to trim this to fit. I'm trimming on the inside of my pencil line so that it'll be a little tiny bit smaller. And I'm not doing the stem, just the pear shape. So we're making kind of like a liner for the inside of our card. Okay, so there's the liner, but it's this side that I want. So here's the card that I kind of messed up, and here's the liner. So I'm going to make sure it fits. I don't want it to be too big. I see a little bit sticking out over here. Okay, a little bit there. Okay, a little bit there. I can get a little really anal about this. Okay, so there is the inside. So what we're going to do is just put some glue on the back of here. And that will go on the inside of the card. Then I'm also going to distress the inside so that it matches the outside. Trim the card down a little bit so it kind of looks intentional. Nobody will ever know unless you tell them, or I tell them, and I'm not telling anybody. So just ink the edges. Here, look how pretty that is. Okay, and then, so that's the front of the card. And that glued area is looking fine. And then we are going to put this on the card back, which I need to cut out, the inside, I mean. There, now there's that. It's inside, and remember what we did before. Let's take our paper trimmer. And lay the card down wherever we want to make the hinge. I'm just going to make a little mark like that, and that will bend. This on the front and attach it here, and the card will open like that. A piece of tape, and remember I saved my tapies from my little piggy. I'm going to just use those same pieces. I'm just going to put them here. That'll be enough. Trim them off. It's like 99 degrees outside today here in Florida, so I am happy to be inside. It's just me getting my nails stuck on my trimmer. Okay, so here's my outside of my card, which is, by the way, very sturdy because it's 2 layers. Okay, and we're just going to lay this, make sure we get it where we want it, nice and even. That. Then we're just going to take our scissors, because remember I told you that it might tend to shrink when you do that embossing folder. Well, indeed it did. So we're just going to trim a little off the back piece. Nobody will ever know. that it wasn't intentional. Okay, so there we go. And the card. And I'm just going to take a little more ink. And ink around the edges to make sure all the white is covered or just trimmed. And there's our card. Look at that, how pretty is that, right? Beautiful. Now I'm not even going to put a tag on this one. So we have this one, which is distressed, and this one, which is shiny with some glitter and some sentiment on the inside. I'm just going to trim off a little bit of that extra fluff there. And on this one, it still needs a little something, so I'm thinking maybe get my little Versamark pad and some clear embossing powder. Clear. First I'll hit it with my anti-static pad, then I'm going to take my Versamark and I'm going to hit all the high spots. Because it's embossed, right? I can hit the high spots with clear. And that's what I'm going to do. So there, and then clear embossing powder. Looks like I got some little parts too, but whatever, that's okay. It's gonna look cool. And then we hit it with the heat tool. And then look, shiny and pretty, and kind of adds to that inside, you know, with the flowers. And so we have two cards, this one, okay, and this one. So you can do some really cool things with shaped cards. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.